Welcome to my community on Afrocentric Television, channel 15.8.
This is a station that brings about what happens in the diaspora. You know, this is Houston, and so we bring everything genuine from everywhere in Africa, the Caribbean, and here locally in Houston.
Absolutely.
My name is Kola, your host, and my co-host.
I'm Ada. Hi, Kola. I haven't seen this guy in a minute. It's good to be back. How are you?
I just missed you, girl.
Missed me?
Aw.
I know I missed you too. But I see you've been doing it.
Tell them.
I did. I really did. I miss Kola a lot. But it looks like he's been holding it down and having a really good time without me, though. I'm kind of jealous about that.
Ada, you know, I may not call, but you know where I. So. Anyway, you know, this is just going to be a rundown of how we started and how it's been since, I think it was February this year. Started November with me last year, but with Ada on my community was in February. And our first segment was with you and I were talking about Valentine's.
Yes, it was Valentine's.
It was love that brought us together our first anyway. Look at that.
You are right. It was.
So, and I remember we talked about Juicy Smollett, that dude.
We did.
That what was that about?
The actor from the hit show Empire.
Right.
It was about his the attack, his alleged attack that went viral. We talked about that as well.
And a lot had happened since then. I remember we had earlier this year we talked about Wazobia, the African store.
We did.
The mayor of Houston came to for the inauguration or the opening of the biggest. It is big and it's very neat. You know, it was fun. It was eventful. A lot of people came out. The African cultural dance and all of those things. You know, it brings me to where Afrocentric stands in our community. You know, we are always there to support one another and embrace our culture and uplift those in businesses that are doing stuff in our community. And I remember also Wazobia did their Customers Appreciation Day sometimes earlier in the year, and it was fun. A lot of people came out. It was eventful. You were gone.
I wasn't here. Unfortunately, I missed that. That's another one that I missed, I know. But I was here when we did do the episode on abuse and child psychology.
Right. That we had Dr. Derrida here,
yes.
Right? Yeah.
Yes.
That's something. Let's talk about that for a second.
Okay.
You know, because it's still happening.
Absolutely.
It's still happening. First off, we've always, when you see someone all of a sudden trying to isolate themselves, check on them.
Right.
Make sure they're doing well. Make sure, you know, things are going okay with them. You don't have to be best of friends, but, you know, people are going through. And everybody needs a shoulder to cry on, or somebody to lean on, you know. Some people, their families are far, you know, and
right.
People around them are who they rely on to be families, you know.
Right. You're absolutely right. It's something that's been ongoing. It's been around for years, and we keep suffering from it. More and more as we go on in time, we are starting to be more aware of some of these psychological issues that people go through. You know, things like depression and coming from an African background, of course, you know, for the longest, it was never one of our beliefs. We never looked at it as a mental health issue. You know, everything was being related back to juju or witchcraft.
I know.
You know, somebody putting a curse on you. But, you know, I'm just so glad that more and more as time goes on, you know, all across, you know, in every generation is now being more aware of, you know, mental health issues, and that it affects everyone. It doesn't make you weak to speak about it.
Right.
You know, you can talk to anyone about it. It doesn't make you any less of who you are. It doesn't have to be a curse or, you know, a lot of people could have been saved, thousands of people could have been saved.
If only,
If only
we observe and we listen to, like, I remember Dr. Daring Day mentioning kids,
Right.
Things you cannot do when, you educate your child about, or who can touch you where and who shouldn't touch you where. You can't don't let any uncle carry your young girl on their laps thinking, no, this is uncle, or don't let them, touch them unnecessarily. And there are some parts that remain private,
right.
to you and to you alone. And also, they feel men don't cry, right? So they assume that if something is going on when a woman is abusing a man, it's always that belief that women are the ones that's always been abused.
Right. It's not it's not known, or
it's not
it's
pronounced.
not accepted. It's not pronounced as much that, male children and adults also get abused by the opposite sex.
So you can imagine, this belief that men don't cry, it still makes me. That's one of the reasons why people commit this year alone, a lot of people commit suicide. A lot just couldn't handle it anymore, and they don't have nobody to tell. And those that they are trying to tell, like, how can you macho? How can you do something?
Right, they expect you to be happy, to be proud of.
Yeah.
Like, oh my goodness, your, teacher, whoever, above you, molested you, and you're supposed to
be quiet
wear
about
it like a badge. Right, and not everyone feels that way.
Speak up if you're going through.
Absolutely.
Speak up. Talk to someone. Even if you feel like it's. Eventually, if they get to know about it, you think it's a shameful thing, right? And some people just feel like, oh, if I tell somebody, then they're gonna laugh at me. So they'll rather be quiet about it, and that you just empower that person.
Right.
If you don't speak about it, that person is gonna prey on another person.
Exactly.
And another person, and then,
And there are a lot of numbers out there, hotlines that you can call for help. If you need to talk to someone, people who are experiencing this, who can help you, reach out. Definitely reach out. Don't bury it. You can't. No man or woman can be an island on their own.
Right.
It's impossible to survive. So you have to make sure you reach out to someone, so that those who do care about you and love you can help you. Right.
On that note, I remember speaking to Dr. Okpe.
Okay, yeah.
You remember her, right? That we were talking about women's health.
Yes.
And then she actually commended you that, she loves patients that actually understand their bodies. And
she's one of a few.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I side note, but relating to this, I actually had a consultation with a doctor yesterday, and simple questions. Have you had your flu shot? And I'm talking like, yeah, I work a lot in hospitals, so I have to do this every year. And he says, well, I can tell. I said, why? He said, because y'all, those of you who work in hospitals, y'all know too much.
So you didn't expect you to know anything,
you know
or what?
so much, because I was just just flying
Free
through
flowing.
his questions, and we were talking, and he just like, a lot. And I said,
isn't that funny about life in general? We were just talking about Dr. We were talking about, she appreciates customers that have done their homework. I mean, rather, I said patients that have done their homework and that knows about their stuff and whatnot. But here's another doctor talking about, you know too much.
Yes, most most medical professionals actually don't really care for extremely knowledgeable patients. It's easier for them to fly through their consultations,
routine and stuff,
especially because a lot of them have to go through a certain number of visits
in a day
or every month to meet their quotas. So they want to be able to fly through those consultations. Someone like me, you're not going to be able to do that.
You're going to sit with me.
You will earn that money that I'm paying for whatever, that hour, 30 minutes, 15 minutes,
so
you're going to earn it.
Are you advising women to do their research?
Absolutely.
Understand their bodies before even going out there? That while it is not ideal for the most part to live off of information on the internet,
right,
seek professional help, it is also better for you to have a know-how of what you're going in for. Do a little research.
Right.
Find out you are the one that you can tell from the symptoms of whatever it is that you're going through, and that's the same thing you're still going to take the doctor anyway. So if you do a little research, you are already halfway through.
Yeah. And you're not going there to tell them what's wrong with you. You're going there to ask
Questions, yeah.
Because there are little things that you may not realize are related to whatever issue you're having. It may seem like something completely different. You may have a stomach ache and then you might have a rash on your back. And you might not realize that those two things are related to whatever is causing the issue. So you always want to ask questions like, hey, I don't know if, doc, I don't know if this has anything to do with my stomach pain, but around the same time, I developed a rash on my back that kind of looks unfamiliar. Let them look at it, because it may be a symptom that is related to whatever the underlying issue is.
Rash on your back you just mentioned prompted me to what you said back in February, if I'm correct. It was during Valentine. We're giving tips on what not to do. And we're talking about, like, it could be the makeup. It could be the foundation or whatever it is, or it could be the lotion that the person is wearing, right? That the opposite sex, the spouse or fiance, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever, is reacting to.
Right.
And so there are things we need to pay attention to that we usually do not. Right?
Absolutely, you do. You definitely do. Pay attention to your body, especially women. Pay very close attention to your bodies. I mean, you're on the inside, not just on the outside. Pay close attention to your bodies. Know where all your moles are located. Know where all your beauty marks are located. That way, if something new pops up, it alerts you. So that when you go see your doctor, you can point it out. Like Dr. Okwe had mentioned, most cancers are caught.
I was just going to say that, yeah.
And not the doctors. And that's because they're paying attention. Know what your breasts feel like, so that way if something feels off and you realize, okay, I feel it on one side, I don't feel it on the other side, you can bring it to your PCP's attention or your OB's attention.
Perfect.
Saves lives.
It does save life, right? Anyway, time flies. So we had a lot of events. There was the NAMC events. There were the AfriFests. We had the Umwebo Unites.
I like how you said that with an Igbo accent.
Yo, I'm Nigerian. What do you think? I rap.
I'm just saying.
Do we have to go?
Let's not go there. I'm just giving you credit. I said I like how.
Well, thank you.
You said it with an Igbo accent.
Yeah, because I take it with pride, right?
Appreciate
and So we had that Igbo Fest, and I remember Dr. Olasi, very knowledgeable man, very, very supportive of the youngs and the olds, and it's I think he's the professor at TSU. He was here, and they came, they talked about, they educated us about the reasons why traditions are what it is, and why the culture has to be displayed. And it was a huge, huge success downtown. I think we had it at that Discovery Greens downtown. It was awesome. You were away, of course. I was hoping you would be here so we can go together. Be my little date, and I can dress like an Igbo guy.
Would you have won the judge?
Yo!
Would you have won judge?
Would you have dressed like my Igbo queen?
With the beads and all.
What?
The whole 9.
I have the cap already. I have 2 of them. One dark red, one lighter red.
Tied the wrapper and then the other shorter one on top.
I will even wear only singlets. Only singlets with the bead and the wrapper and I'll be ready.
That would have been nice.
But yeah, the Umogbe guys too also, I know they had a reunion, I'm not sure how many, I think it's their 4th or 5th year, I'm not, so I can't remember right now, but they had one in Minnesota and it was a success.
I heard about that. Very big event.
Yeah, we talked about it here.
I had a few friends who attended, and I've actually been to a few of their events.
Yeah.
I attended their Valentine's Day show where they had the the portrayal of an Igbo marriage. Traditional marriage.
Yeah. I watched that. Yeah, I watched that. You learn. That's why I love when the Igbo come out with their culture. You have to learn. You know, they have the reason why they do certain things
They
certain
do it
ways.
very nicely. They even had a what do they call these where they auctioned dates out, and I bought.
Yeah, yeah, you did you.
I auctioned. I won a bid for one of the guys, but unfortunately the date wasn't for me. I actually won it for my cousin. But
Oh, you just saved my heart because I was
yeah.
trying to get just like what other?
And guess who I won the bid for? The president of the Houston chapter. Yeah,
Interesting.
It was interesting. Yeah, it was a really nice time. I had a good time. They put together really good events.
They do.
I
They
like
do.
that they try to bring the culture out there. They try to connect and network. You know, people from
Amongst,
every
you know,
race
and that's
across the
where I
board.
understand also that if you are from Abia, it's different from being from Enugu. It's
Oh,
different from.
absolutely. These are all different states.
I thought Igbo is
And even
Igbo.
though the
You
Igbo
know.
we speak, the dialect is slightly
She
different.
said so that day I
It's
learned something new
different.
that day. You know, I wouldn't know. I thought, and the way they
Abia, you
pronounce
have like your central
their
Igbo,
pronunciation also is
yes.
quite different. Just
Quite
like,
different.
yeah.
So some people will not be able to understand. Like I have a hard time understanding Anambra Igbo.
Imagine.
It's very yes, because we speak more centralized Igbo. It's
We
I have a hard.
by
I
we you
am
mean
from Abia. Funny you said that.
mm,
I'm from Abia. So it's just different. But for the most part, you get the idea of what they're
Abia,
saying.
Anambra, Enugu,
Emo.
Imo. Wow,
Yeah, there's quite a few.
that's interesting.
Yeah.
But anyway, we also talked about first aid,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
We had Roxelle EMT came through, and I went for my training, so I'm certified.
Look at you.
CPR
High
certified,
five.
you know.
Okay.
So Lara and I
Good.
went. We just, you know, she threw it open to us. Say, yo, guys, it's necessary. That day I realized how
CPR.
important it is. I've had my CPR since 2004. I just never renewed it. Well, I renewed it once, maybe 2007, maybe. But you know, going back to that class was an eye opener for me because it wasn't. I lost two of my friends prior to that training.
Sorry.
After the training, I lost another two.
Wow.
It was sad. So, and I'm like, so if only
Someone
people
was-
around.
Yeah. And even when it comes to kids, being a parent, you know, working with kids, being around kids, being a parent, you want to learn and try to be certified in children's CPR as well because it's slightly different.
This
And
is, this is everything.
Okay, so
Because
it encompasses
I did
So that's
from
really- that's
adults
to
to infants.
Yes, it's very important because
It was a
kids,
long
you
class
have a lot
though,
of
but
kids
it
who
was worth
they
it.
choke,
Yeah, off of
things
little
like that.
things. Yes, yeah.
My
And
daughter
then-
has stuck a corn kennel up her nose before.
What?
She was about 3, and 2 or 3, and she stuck a corn kennel up her nose, and it was we freaked out, and all she had to do was just blow, but
Yeah,
we just
but
all freaked
you
out. I
just
had to
have
take her
some-
to the doctor, and the second the doctor laid her down, almost immediately the thing just kind of rolled
Wow.
out, and I ended up still paying $600-700 for that visit.
Hey, well.
Learn CPR.
then-
Go get certified. It saves
I
you
know,
money, too.
I know. And then the young African professionals, YAPA, they have their honor balls and I don't know how these guys do it. They are young, they're professionals, and they have this gala and a honor ball. They honor the young 30 under 30s and then
Oh,
some
nice.
youngpreneurs. And they encourage and empower them. They are young themselves, don't get me wrong, but then they have mentors come over to talk to them about things, and they open your eyes to new ideas, and it's just awesome.
Nice.
I love what they
I'm
do.
glad I missed
YAPA is Young African Professionals, or Young Asian some things. YAPA is Young African Professionals
We
Association.
get the gist.
Yeah. Then we have the Pan-African Food Fest.
Oh, nice.
Clara Iguala. Clara, Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee just honored her for that.
Nice.
The mayor of Houston honored her. They gave her the key to the city for Nigerian Day. And she has been, how do I say this? Clara is selfless when it comes to promoting Africa and African culture. The food festival, she had one just recently. That was the second one in Houston this year, I think. We had one earlier, and there's another one now. So she, and she have vendors come through with African attires, all SBAs. I mean, small SBs, I would say, small business SMEs rather. And she brings them together and under one roof. So you come in, you're looking at someone that makes beads. You're looking at someone that design clothing. You have different and food vendors on certain.
Nice.
You know, if you're a tech guy, you're here, and she's so organized. It's worth it. Clara, congratulations to you on that.
Definitely, Clara. That's an achievement.
It is an achievement. You remember this one? We spoke with Adebola Williams about moving back to Africa.
Yes, I definitely remember.
And I remember that a lot of doctors got on him like, no, we tried to do this, but there's no foundation for us to work with, and there's no right avenue. And he gave us a lot of insight as to who to go to, how to go about doing things, and if you truly are about, you first of all have to be willing to go out there to do it, right? So if you're willing, it's always awesome.
Right, because the truth about it is, when we say move back to Africa, a lot of times people assume that it's just as easy as getting up and going. It's not. When he says you have to be willing, you have to have that mindset because it is difficult. It's difficult to relocate to any country you've been away from, even if you were a citizen born and raised.
You've been disconnected from that country, especially when you hear bad news and things.
Exactly. When you come back, the culture, the tradition, everything's different. You're used to a certain type of structure in the United States, and now you're going to Nigeria
and
to
they make it crazy.
Yes.
You walk into an office, they'll ask you to sit. This is after you booked an appointment, and they give you an appointment to come see the minister, whoever. You're sitting over there, hours.
Absolutely.
Hours. At the end of the day, the commissioner cannot see you.
Yeah.
Peep this. You're not going there to solicit for money or anything. You're bringing your expertise to see how you can help develop your country. But when they come here, they are like nobody.
That's why I said you have to be willing. Because what I have come to find out, although it's very difficult, degree of separation in Nigeria is not as wide as it is here.
Mm-hmm.
Even though the more structured way, the way we operate in the United States is to go to the office, is to sit down and have these meetings and book the meetings, like you said, you actually have a better chance at running into these people at a restaurant or on the street than you do at the office. So you have to go there with a mindset to be prepared to go through the difficulties of relocating back or, moving back to Nigeria. And that's what he was talking about. Don't ever think it's going to be easy. You just up and go. No, it's not. It's going to be difficult, but be focused, be determined, and you will succeed at doing it.
You must first love your country to do that.
You have to love it.
You must first love your country to do that.
Hey, hold on. I love Nigeria.
I know you do.
I would be relocated. I would have relocated there 10 years ago. Anyways, that's a topic for another day. So let's moving on.
I wanted to, but I just had to hold myself back.
I'm sorry.
Moving on, like you said, right out there. Moving on. Here, and before we go on our break, I want to talk about the Bobsled and Skeleton Gala by Seun Adigun. I think she's been doing a fantastic job.
I agree.
There's no snow in Nigeria. We don't have the bobsled in Nigeria. There was this mindset and belief that it has to be where there's snow. She changed the perspective.
Definitely.
Only to understand that she's a chiropractor. Dr. Seun Adigun took time out, right? Trained herself and her team, of course. They all trained themselves. And they went to compete. Who has winter in Africa? Winter Olympics. And they did us proud. They did us proud. Came back. I remember one before Seun was another lady. I forgot her name. I think she's an Igbo lady also. She I think it was kayak. She did kayaking, right? And she did. I mean, I just want, where is this drive? They're just changing things from the norm, right? And now she has established a foundation where people benefit from, not just to go to get trained, but also possibly move them over here where they can actually compete and, you know, meet other bobsled team. It's called bobsled, Nigerian Bobsled and Skeleton Association or something like that. I know they had a gala in Sugarland at some point earlier in the, not like around mid-year. Summer, mid-year, something. You know, it was a huge success. People came out to support, and banks, even in Nigeria, even sponsored this event.
Nice.
You know, I thought that was awesome, and
awesome.
she did a fantastic job putting all of this together.
Good job. She did a really good job.
You know, Sheon, I know we've met a few other times after that. You are a true hero, and you should be celebrated.
Absolutely.
Right? Anyway, it's our time now. We'll be right back. Do not touch the dial. I need to have a one-on-one with my girl here. She's been gone too long.
I know.
I missed you, Ada.
I missed you too. But we'll take a break and we'll be right back.
Don't let's get all mushy over here. We'll be back. Welcome back to my community on Afrocentric Television Channel 15.8. This is that station that brings about what's going on in the Houston area, especially to Africans in diaspora. But again, we focus back to Houston. I'm Kola, your host. I'm with my co-host.
I'm Ada.
Ada, the beautiful Ada one. Yeah, so we left off earlier, and we're getting thank you for making me feel, Anyway, earlier in the year,
Gotta love Kola.
Is there any other choice?
Yeah, you're right. There's none.
I think we have 3 Mother's Days in 3 different continents. The Africans, we have their Mother's Day, I think, maybe even more. But we only have 1 Father's Day globally. Why?
You sure about that?
I am positive about that.
That's interesting.
It is, huh? Because we give gifts when, you know, our parents, especially when they are dual like that, you African, Nigerian Mother's Day, you send something. Hey, happy Mother's Day, Mom, blah, blah. And then the American one, they're still expecting something. Like, well, Mother's Day don't pass, though, you know? But Father's Day, only once.
So is your plight the fact that you only get gifts once for Father's Day?
No, not the gift part, but celebrate us more.
You have an International Men's Day. You have your birthday,
Right?
Valentine's Day.
Right. So it so happened that even on your birthday, you still be the one spending.
How is that?
Yeah, your children will ask you to give them money so they can buy you stuff.
No. The kids take the money from mom.
And the mom will still take it from your
take
pocket.
it months in advance. You don't know.
Oh, so that's how it
You
is.
don't know if taking it. It's taken months in advance, so it doesn't count. It's different. You were gonna give it to us anyways.
Huh.
So I mean, it just happened to be the money that bought you your gift.
Steal from you. Anyway.
But you don't know. You don't know that.
It's okay.
What you don't know won't hurt you.
Right. You know, there was this time I personally brought out this young lady. She's Nigerian. She's on the north side of Houston. She does wax for both women and men.
Okay.
And she actually said men are more comfortable getting naked in front of her than women are. How so?
I can see that. Men, you guys have no shame.
What you mean we have no shame?
Think about it. Let's get adult here for a minute.
Let's get adult
The very
here
first
for a
time a
minute.
man and a woman is about to be intimate, who's the first one to drop their clothes?
Yo.
Men don't.
Because
don't
it's easy. We don't wear no girdle, then no bra, none. It's
that's
just
not what-
if it's t-shirt, you just zoom. If it's a
That's
pen,
not
just
what it is.
vroom.
Before the woman even takes her shoes off, you have everything off. So it has nothing to do with that. Men are
No,
just
we
more
do that.
comfortable
You know,
with
remember when you're on a
themselves.
plane? They said if in case of emergency, the mask will drop. Make sure you help yourself first. What's the cause of that chill? Help yourself first before you can help
That just
even
gave
your
me a
own
chill
child.
before You said it.
Even your own child, they say. So listen to this. We're just trying to get ready so we can help. Men are natural helpers.
Okay. Whatever.
Does that
helps you
solve the
sleep at
problem?
night, no. I just think men are just more comfortable with themselves. Women, we worry about so many things. And,
You're absolutely right about
a lot
that.
of times when we talk about women dressing up and putting on makeup and trying to look cute, a lot of people think we do it for the men, but women do it for other women because there is some kind of a silent competition, or should I say, they want to co-sign. They want to be accepted to a certain degree by their fellow women when it comes to certain things, especially with their bodies. Every woman is very sensitive and cautious about her body. So to drop your clothes in front of a woman,
we have pot's
getting
belly, we have flat butts,
women
and we
are-
still drop it like,
yeah,
yo.
but they're not judging you. The waxer's not judging you for your flat belly.
Right.
But as a woman, you feel like she's judging you. You're being judged. Your stretch marks.
So
your
there are
stomach,
assumptions
the
and things like
assumptions
that.
are what makes them uncomfortable. Yeah.
So I guess that's one of the reasons why when they want to take pictures, if they have some floppy stomach, they put something in
Yes.
front of them and things like that.
We worry about those things. We look at those things.
But
we're
we think you
cautious
guys
about-
are beautiful though. So
It's not for the men. We don't do it for the men. We don't want another woman judging us off of those things. It's not about you guys.
learn
You guys
something.
give yourselves a lot of
Learn
credit,
something.
but it's not about you guys. But yes, I can see where she's saying. I have a waxer. I've been going to her for a little over 10 years, and I mean now we're very comfortable with each other. I mean, it's been 10 years now. It's like nothing. But
The first few times.
you know what? Funny enough, no. I wasn't uncomfortable. I thought she would be uncomfortable because of her position.
What?
Yeah, I wasn't uncomfortable. I'm very confident in myself. I am. I worry about what I see and what I like, not necessarily what somebody on the outside sees or what they like, because I don't care
Got you.
what they like. But 10 years ago, I had a 4-pack. I hadn't had a baby. I was in shape. Yes, I had a banging body, so it didn't bother me.
Banging.
You
Right.
see how I did that there? Yeah, but I can see that why that I can definitely see that it takes a lot. I have even going to the doctor. We talked about that with Dr.
Earlier,
Ray.
yeah.
Even going to go see your OB. A lot of women are very uncomfortable getting undressed, and God don't let it be a
She did
man.
say that,
They
yeah.
won't. They won't do it. A lot of women. I have friends who've asked me for an OB contact, and I give them my male OB, and they won't go
I
because it's male.
remember, I remember the doctor asking me to, I think my wife was dilating or something, and they asking me if I'm going to leave the room, like, we die here. The waiting. It is where we will be. Do whatever you want. I don't want to see everything. And
Some
then,
men pass out.
so I heard,
A lot of
right?
men will
So I
pass
heard.
out.
Even when she went for pap smear and things, and the doc was like, "Are you comfortable?" I'm like, "She's my wife."
Is the doctor male?
A female, actually.
Oh,
She was the
okay.
one asking me. And then I'm like, I don't care. What do I do? I'm here.
Different cultures, it's very different. Some people
I
aren't.
just, I think you just have to be
It just
comfortable in your own
depends. You
skin.
have to be comfortable in your skin. But yeah, I'm mad I missed the episode with the waxer because she might have gotten some business from me.
Yeah.
She still might get some business from me.
Yeah, I hope so too. And she's a young Nigerian lady. I think never been to Nigeria. This Christmas will be her first time going to Nigeria. So, her dad is Igbo, but her mom is African American. And she's very young, 20. She didn't go to college for her father, as an African parent. And which is what brought me to talk about her. Her parent initially didn't want to support it, right? They like, you want to go, education is everything to them and all that. And then she dropped off from college when she was 18, and from high school, right? And she got, and that's another thing she talked about on the show. There are some vocational studies that you can take while in high school. And that's how she took advantage of that. And she became a cosmetologist. And after that, she got a certificate, and then she went full-time, working. And then she said she's making about $3,000 a week.
They make really good money. I would pay
And
her
I'm
to
like,
come wax me at home because the drive I have to drive, my location is about a good 30 minutes from my house.
right.
And I go like clockwork every 3 weeks. I have to drive there every 3 weeks, and I pay close to $100 each time I go. So yeah, if you have, and it takes literally 20 minutes. So in 20 minutes, you're making almost $100. Some doctors don't make it
She
an
said
hour.
so. And I would have advised you to drop out of school since you're 12.
Whenever she comes back from Nigeria, I will hunt you down. We need to have a conversation because I have a really good proposal for you.
10%. I don't want to know what's about 10%.
Come on now.
Hey, this is business now.
Okay. Well, I'll bring you in. I'll bring you
My
in.
girl.
I got you.
Anyway, then we had the Youthnomics. Youthnomics is by Tayo Olosunde. Tayo Olosunde is our executive producer's childhood friend, who is into youth empowerment. He started this Youthnomic, and I actually have the app. Very, very, very good app to have. What it's saying is mind the gap. His story is so fascinating. He is not the type that can sell himself. Let's say you bring me in for an interview, I can express myself as much as I would love to. I can tell my story the way you would want to buy in. But I have this skill. There's something in me. The fire in me is burning. I need to let you know that. But I just can't, put into words that will give you the buy-in. So someone gave him a chance. And since then, he has been the best person that gave him the chance he's ever had.
Nice.
And so he's trying to pass that on. Give people chances. Don't judge them just because they can't do a lot of reading and writing.
Right.
You can prepare them for another. So in between that time, just mind what happens, because you never can tell. Today, he's a success. He is doing well. He works with the presidential team on youth development and things like that. He has his own book, Youthnomics. And he's just doing excellent work. He empowers young bloods. When they say catch them young, that's what he's doing. It's not the oil, it's not the gas, it's not it is you. Invest in people, and that's exactly what he's doing.
People are our greatest assets.
He said that I think that's what he said. He said the people are the main asset, not the oil, not the gas, not all those natural resources, but the people are your greatest asset. And then we went further to do what we call the Go for Blue Clean Water. There's this organization by GABA also, which is Global African American. I think is a business network. What they do is they connect the world to Africa, right? And they're part of the Go Blue for Blue Water, right? So we went there. One of our ED was with me, Shegun. We went there to represent Afrocentric, and we learned so much about what they do. They did this fundraising, and they go into the deep where there's no water in Africa, and provide them clean drinking water. As opposed to walking 3 hours just to fetch water and back. Clean water, that is, they can, by the rivers, they can wash their clothes and whatnot, but clean drinking water, they go that far to go get it. So that 6 hours reduced to like 5-10 minutes.
And let me tell you something, coming from someone who went to boarding school and had to walk like 3 miles to go fetch water with an iron.
And don't remind me. Do not remind me.
On her head and walk it all the way back. That is a blessing. Thank you so much. That is a blessing.
You
it's
remember
nothing compared to 3 hours, but oh my goodness, I would have traded that for anything. I hated it. I think it stunts our growth. Boarding school diaries.
I know. I went to boarding school too. It's crazy. It's a totally different ball game, right? And OTC naturally comes up every first quarter, I think. I know second quarter of the year.
So,
and it's usually here in Houston. And we participated last year. We met some officials from Nigeria, of course. They told us a lot of stuff. I guess when they're in America, when they feel the breeze, it relaxes them, make them speak their mind, what they intend to do genuinely. But when they get out there, I don't know if it's that weather that is polluted, I don't know, but they just can't feel.
I think a lot of them have really good intentions. It's just so,
and that's why I said genuinely too, when they make that
really
those promises
good,
here.
Intentions. It's just so hard. It's so difficult to put it into motion in Nigeria because of the pushback from the people.
The people themselves. I always say we are our own problem.
Yes, there's a lot of pushback. And again, it sounds so wonderful here because it's more structured here. There are checks and balances. We can see it. But you're selling that same dream to a nation of people who have not experienced that, who don't understand how this is going to work. They're going to say is, nah, Baba, that won't go work here. No. Because they don't know. They don't understand how they can't see what we see, So I mean, I don't blame a lot of politicians, a lot of businessmen, a lot of people in the ministry. They are trying. A lot of them do have genuine intentions. They're just not able to, put it into motion.
But it's still hard to get Nigerian visa.
I think I'm gonna not speak on that.
You will not speak on that?
No. I will keep my opinion to myself when it comes to the Nigerian visa.
So do you think it's okay to... Well, it's a good thing now that they introduced visa on arrival, as opposed to you trying to get your visa from here, or even trying to get
the
your...
Nigerian visa on arrival.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or trying to get your...
read what that visa on arrival is for? It's not for everyone.
Is it not?
Absolutely not. So there is a misconception. I just had this conversation a few days ago. The Nigerian visa on arrival was made specifically for business individuals, people who are traveling, who don't have the time, who are coming to do business from other African countries, who don't have the time to, try to send their passport off or go to an embassy or anything like that.
Excuse me. There is no visa stamp currently, even in America.
What do you mean?
Okay.
When you say that?
So I send my passport in to get stamped a visa, so I can travel to Nigeria once approved, right? I've paid, but then they're holding back my passport because they couldn't stamp my passport.
Well, it's a paperwork they print out and they clip it to your passport, the Nigerian visa. It's like a page. It's like a passport page, and they clip it. It really is. It's not a stamp like you would have if you go to.
Oh, I
like
still had that
Turkey.
conversation with one agent this morning. With that an agent this morning saying if they're sending anyway. Like you said, you have your reservations. So
Yes, when it comes,
I just hope things can get better.
It's not as a lot of people think. I have a lot of people who have been saying, "Hey, I'm just gonna get the visa on arrival when I get there," and I tell them, "You better call. You better make sure."
But the beauty of that,
that you are able to do that when you get to Nigeria, because you will get sent back.
The beauty of that is if you are carrying an expired Nigerian passport, they will still let you in. The unfortunate part is when you're trying to leave Nigeria, you may not be able to, because you need to have done, that's the condition, you need to have done or renewed your passport while you were in the country.
An expired Nigerian passport without a visa on an American passport, and they will let you into the country.
Yes.
I will not speak on that.
About the visa, I think it's okay to as long as that's your final destination, you're carrying that passport, even if it's expired, not necessarily Nigeria, but any other country, as long as you have that passport, even if it's expired, and the current passport of the country you're coming, so you combine both. Your expired Nigerian passport, so to say, will serve as your interim visa to get you in. But the condition is if you have to come back,
you have to get that renewed before you leave. Passport. Well, that makes sense. Yeah. That makes sense. So that's good.
And then before we talk about lots of events that we had this year, it's this year has been a lot of promising and lovely events that was quite an experience, right? But we invited one of our friends down here to talk about the EP45 program, where it's like a business visa that gives you green card afterwards.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it costs a lot of money. You know, it used to be 500,000, but now I think it's by January. I think it's going to be, or later this year, it's going to be $900,000.
It's going to cost you that, or your business has to be profiting that.
It's going to cost you that, but it's going to be your money, initial investment into a business here in the United States.
That's what I'm saying. So it's a business worth that amount of money.
No, that is the money you're bringing into the table to invest into the United States.
So you will be awarded a green card to the United States as long as you can invest $900,000. Half of Nigeria should get a green card then.
The catch is they will be able to trace the source of
half of Nigeria should be able to get a green card then.
It's possible, if only they know about the program. As of today,
wow.
Well, as of the time of the interview, I would say, I think it was only 103 thereabout Nigerians that subscribe to it. That's benefit.
Yeah, because there are a lot of Nigerians who spend this money.
As 10 children. And it could be, as long as you have the right paper, they don't even have to be your biological children. They could be your nieces and nephews and whatnot.
And all you have to do is invest this money into a business within the United States.
They'll tell you where though. So there are agencies that handle that on behalf.
And you come and say, "Hey, I have $1 million to invest," and they say,
a year to process, but
"This is where you would go."
And after 5 years, you're
a year is so much better than how many years does it take when you're doing it any other kind of way? So. Well, that's interesting. I need to go do some research on that.
Yeah,
that's something to really look into. It's called the EB5 program.
Yeah, I'll tell you, it was
Please
an intense talk.
I can imagine.
Yeah, sure. It was a whole show on its own. You know, when we talked about other immigration, factors that are affecting Africans, we have Debbie Chen came through. And thanks to Nika Chapo, she is doing excellently well. She brings those people to us, and then we get to be enlightened about the processes to obtaining green card, citizenship, and even asylum, and differentiate between different things that the government can use against you even when you're here illegally. I remember bringing the chief of police at Acevedo to the studio, and and how he planned to work with the city, with the African community in the city, to understand better how things run in Houston. Bring the most diverse city in the United States. You just have to have a police chief that is very, very understanding,
Right, and
and
intuitive.
vast.
Okay.
So he came, he spoke, and great guy, great guy. And we talked about the election, a big one.
I
This
know.
year we had two Nigerians run for the seat of city councilman, right? So one in Missouri City, Steve Okoreha, shout out to you, and the second one in Fort Bend here, Mr. Kunle Elegbede, K. Elegbede. They both did well. It was an eye opener for me, learning so much about the election process, from the grassroots,
Right.
in the Houston and in the United States in general. And then the mayor of obviously won, but he didn't meet the actual number, the targeted number, so there had to be a rerun. And we brought some people from the Republican Party and also from the Democratic Party to come talk about what their plans are for the African community in the Houston area. It was a learning
I
process for
bet.
me.
I can imagine.
I love it. The fact that Africans are stepping up to run for offices, it matters a lot.
It does.
And one is actually running to be a district judge right now. He's
Nice.
an Igbo guy too, running to be a district judge. So I hope you guys go out there to support this gentleman. Let's have a seat at the table. Let them understand where we're coming from. We are not criminals. We work hard for our money. Look at this beautiful Ada. She works. She's an IT trainer. She's just not a TV host or regular Yahoo girl or Slim Mama like you people may want to. But isn't that awesome? Look at her. Look at her. She's Ada.
Oh yeah, I'm flattered. You're.
It's okay. I mean, I just have to let them understand that here's a representation of a typical African queen. A mother, still looking gorgeous. And taking care of herself.
Thank you.
And but the media just want to portray Africans as just because one of them had a misdeed, and they want to categorize everybody else the same way. It's never so. We work hard. We do work hard.
And we do breed some of the smartest individuals in Africa in general.
We do.
We do. You
Very
have
well educated.
very well educated. I mean, education
doctors,
is a big deal for
engineers,
most
lovely
Africans.
teachers,
Absolutely.
accommodating caregivers, nurses, just
Hard
IT,
workers.
oil and gas. Just name it. We are
Yeah.
there, man.
We just haven't been put out in the spotlight like, it's unfortunate, but news always tends to vibrate or, go and pull towards negativity.
Yeah, that's what
So
sells, right?
it's unfortunate, but there's a lot of good that's been out there, and that's why we are here. That's why we have My Community. This is what we're here for.
Yeah.
We want to put the spotlight on the good, the positive that Africans are doing outside of Africa, not just within our continent.
Anyway, we'll be right back. Let's pay our price to our sponsors, so we will be right back.
Okay.
Don't
See you
touch the
soon.
dial. We'll be right back. Stay tuned.
Welcome back to My Community on Afrocentric Television, channel 15.8.
Yeah, we are back and we are back to close you out. But we can't do that without mentioning the very many events that's happened in the Houston area. I'm sure y'all heard when we had Burna Boy came to Houston, was sold out events. That was where, I must do this. I must shout out to the Shepherd Knights. The Shepherd Boys, the mayor had to give them the key to the city. That's huge. I love those boys, man. I've been with them from inception, since they started. And they kept bringing in entertainment to Houston. They bring in African entertainment. So when you talk about Whiskey to Davido to all of those guys, they've brought them to Houston, man.
I'm sorry to cut you off, but
okay.
Thinking about this, what you just said, I really, really wish that we could go back and track 20 years ago, 17 years ago, 15 years ago, in the times of Two-Face, in the times of P-Square, when people really, when it very first started bringing African entertainment to this country, it took years. It's literally the very first Nigerian reunion that hosted in Houston. I was a huge part of it. This was years. This was almost 20 years ago. And I mean, we didn't, of course, we didn't have the media like we do, the coverage, and so a lot of these things are lost. But I'm talking about the times of the Debanj when they were still Mohites, like yes,
wow.
Two-Face African. These guys came out here.
Two-Face had he shot a movie, The Power of One, that premiered here in Houston.
Yeah.
And there was this concert also. I think I can't remember who brought it together. I think it's still the Shepherd Knights too. I'll give it to them. Falls, the bad guy, and also Two-Face Idibia. And even Afrocentric, we had our very first movie premiere this year also, coming from Insanity. Sold out event.
Wonderful.
It was awesome.
We need to give. I mean, we have come a long way. So Shepherd Knights, thank you guys so much, because time and time again, a lot of people have tried, and a lot of people have been in the industry, and they've dropped out. They've gotten frustrated, and they've left. They've dropped out. They've moved on with life. But you guys have kept it going steady. I mean, despite the fact that you lost one of your most important members, God rest his soul. We miss him every freaking day. But we thank you guys so much for what you're doing. Thank you.
Master Brown, the likes of MCPC.
Yes.
Ama Love, Abi Cotton. It's a whole lot of this.
There's a lot. Golden Icon.
Thank you.
I mean, Dave. There's so
all
many.
These guys when I think about it, I feel like, wow.
Yep. You guys keep persevering. There's so many more of you guys. I'm sorry if we don't call all your names, but we know you. We love you, and we appreciate everything you guys do for us. We just want to say thank you. The entertainment industry, you guys have done such an amazing job putting our community, our culture, our tradition, our country on the map, and we just want to appreciate you guys.
And to our
thank
sponsors. We can't do nothing without you guys, right? So everything, of course, to air this costs money, and you just don't hold back. You help, you come through, you support us, and then we've been able to do so much with your help. And of course, we try everything possible to promote your business as well. But in that, we say thank you. Thank you to all our supporters, to all our viewers, to our executive directors, to our lightning people,
everything, people audio visual,
to the people that will not
wardrobe,
make me here.
Thank you guys so much, and to everyone out there in the entertainment industry, in the business world, that you're doing what you do, bringing your talent, using your talent to improve, to better, and put us out there on the map. We just want to say thank you. Without you, there will be no us.
That's right.
Because of you, we are here, and we just want to say thank you so much for all that you've done.
Hey, shout out to Ade Style Doctor. Remember?
Yes, from Atlanta, Georgia.
We just
Thank
all the
you.
doctors that's come through to educate us. We've had, I think, this year alone, we've had
Quite a
about
few.
150 guests
On the
in my
show.
community. 150 guests.
Nice.
Every week in, week out.
Style
You know?
Doctor, I just want to let you know that I am going to. I screenshot all of your outfits, by the way, so that when I do find my husband, I'm gonna sew those outfits for him. You got style. That name
That's why we
befits
call
you,
him
Style Doctor. You got style. I give it to you.
Yeah, that's a good guy right there.
Yeah.
But anyway, we have so much more coming for you next year. Next year there's gonna be lots of. I'm not gonna unveil that right now, but there's gonna be a lot of other shows coming up from other than what you've been seeing. There are new ones.
Amazing episodes, amazing topics, fun, lots of fun. I promise you.
You are going
Stay
to be
tuned.
in
It's
for
gonna
it
be a
real.
better year,
For it
2020.
real. Yes, especially with my other.
And I will be around more often. I promise.
She
I'm not
probably-
going
she
anywhere.
probably
I will
gonna
be
leave
here
me.
more often.
Babe, it's Ada. So it's this is a confession now on live TV. Why are you laughing at
Good.
me now? Let me make my.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Anyway, we're not gonna do that here. I'm gonna go on my knees in front of her. Just
Lara, I had nothing to do with this. I don't know how to fight.
Well, guys, it has been fun. It has been a fun-filled year, an amazing
It definitely
year.
has
with
been.
everybody, we just want to wish y'all a happy
Holidays. Merry
Merry
Christmas.
and a happy New Year.
Happy
in
New Year.
advance, and then we hope to see more of you next year.
Absolutely.
But do not forget to subscribe. We need a subscription.
To our YouTube channel. Very important. Keep us going. You like what we do, keep us going.
Yeah, on Facebook and on Instagram, it's Afrocentric TV. And we have also a household name, Afrocentric Houston. And remember, Afrocentric is with a K. Until next time, I remain your host, Kola Akinmuyiwa.
And I am Ada Otuka. We wish you lots of love and light. Enjoy the holidays until 2020.
Stay out of trouble. And remember to cast your vote.
Definitely.
I remember a lady coming out to me and like, I love your show. I love it. But tell people the need to vote. Cast your vote.
Go out and vote.
That's a civic duty. That's your power. A power you possess. All right?
All right.
Well, until next year, expect so much more. Take care. We love y'all.
Love you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.